Hey everybody, welcome out to the HT Garage once again. And today I'm going to talk about my lifts a little bit. Actually, these lifts, this Bendpak 2-post service lift and my storage lift back here, the 4-poster, they've been in the garage here for a few years. I got them installed sometime after COVID happened, and I got to tell you, I really love these things. This one replaced an old lift that I had for many, many years, but that thing was tired and inconvenient to use, especially with lowered cars. The posts were too close together. It was great having a lift, but it was not a great lift. And so I got these two installed. And at the time of the installation, I got a bunch of clips together of the guys who put it together. And erected these things and assembled them for me. I paid to have it done. I did not do it myself. And after watching the process and how many dudes were doing it, plus the crane that they had on their truck, I'm glad I didn't even think about trying to put it in myself. So a local company came out. They are shop upfitters, and so they knew exactly what they were doing. All I had to do was figure out where I wanted these lifts to be placed and pay. And the paying was almost as painful as figuring out exactly where I wanted these to go. But I figured all that out. I got the lifts from Bendpak directly. They were really great to work with. I got a pretty good deal on the combo of them, and they shipped them straight to the installers, and they trucked them out here to Forest Grove to put them up. So that being said, I didn't do like a step-by-step or a how-to, because I wouldn't even recommend somebody do this on their own. But if you are interested in getting lifts like these, one or the other, I do have a montage sort of the installation process, getting them off the truck, how they went together, and basically ultimately what had to happen to put these together. So if you're thinking about getting lifts like these in your own garage and you're wondering about the process, this is a really good overview. And yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this video. It's fun for me to be able to have these things and to share it with you. So go ahead and watch this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Subscribe to our channel if you want to see more with these cars, the projects that I'm doing. And of course, if you have any questions about the garage or you want me to make videos about anything else, let me know in the comments below. All right, so behind me, the guys from Shop Equipment Supply in Portland are offloading my two Bendpak lifts. I'm getting two new lifts. So as you guys know, I already have a lift in my garage. It's a 2-post service lift. But because things are just sort of tight in there, even though it's a really big garage, I wanted to get a 4-post lift also. And I thought, well, at the same time, let's get a matching 2-post lift. And that way I'll be able to do a lot more efficient work on cars, better videos for you guys, better storage of the cars. So more to come on that. But today we're doing some installation of lifts. How fun is that? Hey everybody, I thought that I'd take an opportunity to do a little picture-in-picture here, since there really isn't any narration or instruction in this video. This is my wife, Elise. That's our TLX, my son, Mateo. And they were taken off for the day when these lifts were getting put in, so I decided to just kind of put this clip in. There's more in that TLX in our video library, so check that out. Yep, unpacking this stuff, it became really obvious to me really quickly that this was more than I wanted to take on myself. You know, just these guys having this crane, they knew what they were doing. Of course, there was like 4 guys working on it too. They installed the original lift that I had in the garage as well. Really great set of guys. They could do all kinds of different shop equipment, tire changers, and built-in toolbox arrangements for like dealerships and stuff. And they also do these residential installs too. So the 4-post lift was going in first at the back of the shop. They obviously wanted to make sure that they're working back to front. It's a little easier to do it that way. And erecting these posts, the ramps, I just don't know how I would have done this on my own. But yeah, I was starting to get really excited about this 4-poster going in, because with the number of cars that I have, floor space is great, but you need to go vertical. If you're not able to use the vertical space, then you're just wasting a lot of potential storage room. Yeah, step by step. I painstakingly sort of laid out where this lift was going to go. I knew it was going to be really tight in the back of the garage there. I still wanted to be able to get in and out of that back door while the lift was up or down or whatever. And only did I later find out that they don't actually anchor the 4-post lift to the ground. They don't really need to because it's really stable. Yeah, there's equal weight on all 4 legs pretty much at any time. So never actually did get anchored down. If I pulled the cars off it and was able to shift it, it would actually move around. So there wasn't a strong commitment to bolt this thing into one specific place, but I didn't really want to move it. I didn't want to think about moving it later. So pretty much where they're putting it right now is exactly where it is today. There's just enough room to that wheel and tire rack in the back to load and unload wheels from there. You could still pass through the posts, through the roll-up door in the back, even though it sort of covers up one of the openings. So this ended up being a good place to put it. Here we got the hydraulic pump unit going in.
Where it's at?
Filling it with oil.
You got a dull knife plate on there, Carl?
No, it's pretty
This
sharp.
is installing the air lines to unlock it. So all 4 pillars lock simultaneously when you lift the car up. And so when you want to release those locks to let the car down, you have to have like a remote way of undoing all 4 corners at the same time. So you can manually lift them, or you could use this airlock system. The airlock system is better because you only have to activate it from one place and it unlocks all 4 remotely. But as you'll see here in a moment, I wasn't quite planning on having to deal with air for this. Also, I want to mention the electrical. I don't cover the electrical in this. I had a friend of mine come over and help me run some conduit and hook up the electrical for these things. My garage was outfitted with electric car charging receptacle, which I don't have an electric car, don't plan on getting one. So we use that power supply to basically run power to both lifts. Normally we would have divorced the power supply to each lift, but because we only plan on using one lift at a time and both won't be running at any given time, we felt it was safe to just split off of one circuit for both lifts. Here he's adjusting the height on the back corners. The garage floor isn't level. You probably know your garage floor isn't level either. It's sort of sloped towards the outside, so in case there's a spill of water or something like that, it will flow to the outside. Well, that means that they had to adjust the level to compensate for that. All right, well, that's day 1 done. The guys got the lift all assembled and erected. It's not permanently placed quite yet. I got to do some final figuring on where exactly I want it to go in relation to that post and the back door and stuff like that. And so they're going to come back tomorrow and set that up. Man, that looked like a really tedious job working with the cables. And this has an air release for the locks, which I wasn't really expecting. I fairly positive if I was asked when I ordered it, I would have not specified air locks because I don't have air supply in my shop. I can certainly rig up some air. That's not a problem. But just hooking up all those air lines looked like it was a ton of work and something I wouldn't want to do. So I'm glad that I had shop equipment do that for me. And yeah, so day 1 is over and day 2 is coming tomorrow. But what does day 2 have in store? There's more. So keep watching. Okay, welcome to day 2. Today what's going on is this old lift is coming down and being replaced with a new lift. So I'm going to have matching 4-post and 2-post service lifts out in the garage. So I'm really looking forward to that. This lift has served me very well for many years, but the poles are a little close together, the arms don't articulate the greatest, and the arm height is a little bit high, so working on my lowered Hondas is a little difficult sometimes. So got a whole new lift going in there too, so revamp continues. Yeah, this lift, I had it for 8 years, I want to say. I bought it off of a friend who had a shop, but he wasn't using it anymore. I think I paid $1,500 for it, and then when shop equipment came out to install it in the past, it was something like $500 or $600, which I was glad to pay for then as well. But you know, there's losing pressure over time, so cars would sink if they were on the rack for a long time. The arms here, you can see how much simpler they are than the Bendpak ones. So they don't articulate as much. This platform on the Benwell lift is hugely intrusive. That stabilizing beam that comes out on the bottom, obviously the rack was very stable, but it was always in the way. So the Bendpak 2-post lift has got smaller feet on it overall. It's kind of like a larger base, but it doesn't need that stabilizing beam, which is pretty awesome. Now, something I also, maybe is obvious, but it didn't seem like it at the time. The 4-post lift seems like kind of a big deal because it's big and there's 4 posts and the scale of it is just sort of large. The 2-post lifts seem simple by comparison, but actually they're way more complicated. They have to balance the weight of a vehicle on the 2 posts instead of 4, which doesn't require any balance because there's 4 points of stabilization. And then just the beefiness that the feet have to be. And they do need to be anchored to the ground because, of course, the car can tip back and forth depending on how you have it loaded. And they have to be able to withstand the weight being in different places. If you got a front-engine rear-wheel drive or a mid-engine car or a front-engine front-drive car, minivan, which I have all those vehicles. So the reality is you need something that's flexible enough to handle all those different sorts of weight loads. But, also compact enough that it fits in the space. I cannot believe how comfortable this guy is manipulating that giant a giant thing. But here you can kind of see how much bigger the base is than the Benwell, and look at how much taller it is. The posts are a lot larger and taller. I'm like walking this thing like he's walking a dog. The guy that doesn't have any hair, I think he was getting some training at the time. He might not have normally been part of the installation crew, but if they're going to go in and bust out these jobs quickly, then they need a crew. I would say this is bittersweet watching the old one come out, but I'm just so excited about getting the new ones. You can see the blue tape on the ground just forward of the Benwell lift there, the tape on the ground on the right behind the guy there. That's where I thought that I was going to be putting the lifts when they went in, just sort of based on the size of them and what their capability was and the layout of my garage. This blue tape in front was where I was positioning cars, but up there, that blue tape by the bracket, that's where I figured I was going to be putting the new ones, like shifting them back a little bit more. Yeah, the balance on these is kind of funky. So I'd actually sold this lift before it came down. I was smart enough to have somebody out and take a look at it, show him how it worked, prove to him that it worked, kind of give him some tips on how it was going to be coming apart so that he could install it in his dad's shop. He was installing it at his dad's place. And I said, well, here's these guys' phone number in case you need help putting it in. But, also, Good luck. See you later. Yeah. Yeah, when we moved these into the garage, when I bought the lift in the first place, I had it on a flatbed trailer. And me and the guy that I bought it from lifted it onto the flatbed trailer. And we could barely lift it. I couldn't imagine without a crane. So the old anchors just get hammered into the concrete. Pretty sure this is a 4-inch slab in the garage, which is, you know, plenty for this sort of a load. You can see where I ended up placing the lift compared to where I thought I was placing it. This was definitely going to be a permanent decision. See, I had to go a couple of feet farther up. And I aligned it with this post mostly for floor space considerations. I think I would have liked the lift to be farther towards the opening of the garage, but it was going to be intrusive with that cabinet. You can kind of imagine. I'm just skinny enough to squeeze through that opening without any trouble. And then the post is already creating a floor space interruption. And we're just making it bigger now instead of expanding it offset too, if that makes any sense. So working with the shop environment that I had was kind of an important part of deciding where I was going to put it. And I will say that, you know, since this video, it's actually a couple of years old, I'm really happy with where I put it. But it was definitely a measure 3 times, cut once sort of affair.
Yeah, there's a union down there.
Yeah, I'm sure I could have figured all this out too, but they just come in, they know what they're doing. Install it straight up. So these arms, the way that they're offset and the way that they articulate the shape of them, man, it adds so much more flexibility to loading a car up. The way they extend, and you know, this front one is like really short, so I always had trouble racking cars with the bend wheel lift because the arm was a little too long, and so like if I didn't pull the car forward enough, I couldn't get the arm in the right place underneath the jack point. So these locks keep the arms in place when the lift is off the ground. When you put the lift on the ground, they unlock so you can swing these arms freely. All right, 2 lifts. They're installed. They look great. The guys from Shop Equipment Company did a great job. They were professional and friendly. And if you're local Portland area, I would recommend using them for a lift install. They're offloading my old lift right now. Somebody bought it, so we'll pick that up. And meanwhile, I gotta clean these things up. There's some fingerprints and stuff, and try to put a car on and see how it goes. So I will go over some more of the features and details of these lifts with you in another video. But in the meantime, thanks for sharing in the experience of getting these things installed right now. Bendpak makes a really nice product, really tall and big, but they make them to fit your particular needs too. So look them up. I'll put some links to the products that I got down in my video description, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Heeltoe is in your corner. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep watching the channel. I love these lifts.